Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Beyond the Bottom Line, the podcast that sits down with leaders and executive directors and people behind the scenes of the nonprofit world that make their organizations go. And today is a really exciting episode. I'm sitting down with Wesley, Todd Halliday, and Faith Halliday to talk about their organization called Holiday Hoops. And I connected with these guys on LinkedIn. I found them through a LinkedIn post. I forgot exactly how and where and why. And I looked into them. I was like, wow, this is really awesome. I like this kind of stuff. And I pinged him on LinkedIn. I said, hey, you guys want to come on my podcast, talk about what you guys are doing? And just like everybody, most people don't say no to being on a podcast. So we're sitting down with these guys today, having a great conversation. It's fun because I've never had two people on at the same time before. Oh, wait, and maybe I did on another show of ours, but it's still very fun. And more conversation, the better. And so as we dive into this episode, we're going to hear lots of interesting insights about who they are, what they're all about, why they decided to start their organization, the impact that they're having on the community. And as always, this podcast is proudly sponsored and presented by GiveSuite.com. GiveSuite is the all-in-one platform for your nonprofit, offering you everything you need and more to run your back office, front office, you name it, it's there with all the tools and everything at one fixed price. So you don't have to worry about anything other than running out there and changing the world. If you want to learn more about GiveSuite, you can check us out online, www.givesuite.com. This episode will be on our website. They'll have their own dedicated page, so you can go follow that. And it'll be up on all our social media channels. Don't forget to like and subscribe to those as well. And as I always say, nobody cares about me. Let's dive into the podcast. Welcome aboard, guys. How are you?
Good to be here. I'm good. I'm good.
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely amazing. No, for sure. So what's your deal? What's the whole story behind Holiday Hoops?
Well, it's funny that you talked about us on the organization. And if you don't know now, you know Faith is my baby sister, although she's not a baby. Even though we are the co-CEOs, we didn't start this. Our families, our parents did, actually. Our parents are first generation college kids. They're Black. They went to a historically Black college, and they actually met at the Cookman University. And they were both there on sports scholarships. So they fell in love, they got married, and my father went on to coach professionally. And one day he looked at my mom, who was at the time running her own business, and said, you know what? I want to create a nonprofit. I want to give back. And what they knew was sports. What they knew was basketball. So that's how Holiday Hoops got started. Faith, do you want to add to that?
Just to piggyback, like you said, our parents started this more so when I was in middle school. So I was there during the peak of it all when it first started. At a young age, I didn't know what it really was. I played basketball. It's always been a part of my life, but I didn't understand what they were actually doing. Um, and then from there, I go to college, and never in a million years did I think that I would take over this and do what we're doing now. So it's pretty great to see what it's became since I was like 10 years old, and now that I'm 36, you know, it's a great thing.
No, that's really amazing. Random question. Are you guys related to the Holidays in the NBA?
People like, why not say it? Who's gonna really fact check in these days? But I've tried it with my kids to get their attention, but no, we're not.
And beyond sports, no Jennifer. For those that know beyond sports, no Jennifer Holiday, no Holiday Ann, no Judy Holiday. Although my mother's name is Judy, she actually married a Holiday and didn't even know who Judy Holiday was, a famous actor. I'm rambling, but yes, no relation to any of them.
That's funny. So you guys come in, you take over what your parents have built. How did that feel when you got into the driver's seat of all that? Like coming from being on, I guess put it in sports and being on the sidelines and seeing what's been going on in the background, then finally being up front. How did that affect and impact you guys, and how did you put your spin on this whole organization?
Well, I can I can test to say, for me, it was a kid in the neighborhood. My parents had, put this to the side. I think it became a strain on them, being transparent, running a nonprofit. doing majority of everything because my father started with inner city kids. So these are kids that have very limited resources. So, they pay for everything. They even bought a 6-bedroom house to house kids when we would go out of town because they just knew they were doing Airbnb before Airbnb was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
CRBO, whatever it was called. Yeah. Back in the
Yeah, it was big, but me being 21 in college, I'm doing the regular stuff that kids do in college, and I wanted to be a producer and did try to do music, but it wasn't in my cards. So this kid used to come by the house all the time and play 2K with us, like college kids. So we just play 2K all the time. And he used to talk to me about basketball, and he's like, "You're good, you're good." So he kind of motivated me to get into it. But then I sat back and I thought about it. I was like, wait, my parents have a nonprofit that deals with basketball. And I remember calling my mother one day and asking her, did she still have the business? And she said yes. And she just was I was like, I think I want to do it. And this was 14 years ago. So it started with the kid just being in my house, us playing video games. And I started to see that, wait, I'm good at this. So it started with coaching, and then I started to learn and bring Wesley in, and we started to put business together and just create something great.
And I'll give my perspective, Sean. I remember when this started because I was literally, I went to school at UCF, Central Florida, and I was literally on stage doing a musical. My parents had mentioned this, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like I wanted to be on Broadway, right? And then somewhere along the way, I was in New York City, and I realized, wait a minute, I've been working for nonprofits my whole life, right? Theaters, hospitals, universities, they're all nonprofits. So about like during the pandemic, I went back to Columbia University to get my master's degree in nonprofit management because I've been thinking this was the moment. My father had always wanted to bring on the arts. I had been seeing for a decade how hard my sister had been working by herself, literally by herself and a bunch of coaches. So I said, I should study this and I should help build the infrastructure. So for the past 5 years, like a new board, new governance, fundraising, website, promote. I mean, Faith was doing it all by herself. We've seen like an uptick in the past 5 years of the infrastructure for the nonprofit just in time for its 25th season anniversary.
That's amazing. So you guys, so when your parents were running it, was there any infrastructure, or was kind of just like, let's do it like most nonprofits, they're doing it out of passion, and what comes, and now you guys are taking over and building, kind of like restructuring, building it from the ground up, but keeping that foundation of what it was, and just kind of making more order to things.
You know, because this, like the sector was around, but it really wasn't. It didn't have the infrastructure that it has today, right? So, like, I think that because someone like me can get a master's degree in nonprofit management or social media or whatever, like these things weren't the science around it wasn't there, but the heart was there, right?
Right.
The heart for giving back was always there. And what Faith and I say is no matter how big we get, no matter how grand, or no matter how positionally we try to be, at the end of the day, it is one family helping dozens and hundreds and now thousands of other families. So at its heart, it's just families helping families and building family units to be better human, human beings in our society and to give back.
No,
Right. But the foundation was already laid.
Yeah.
no, for sure. Right, I find that a lot. That I see like a lot of nonprofits, like I mean, I guess it's the crux of it being a nonprofit is that it's all about passion and mission driven, but then sans the infrastructure and like the business side of it. And I think that this is great what you guys are doing. Taking this, coming at the 25th anniversary of the organization, and really building it up to something that is a successful business, and and it is a business. A nonprofit is a business, like, and
Saying it is.
and and giving it the credit and the respect that is due, that what your parents did with this. So I mean, that's really cool. So what does the organization do? So what are the different aspects and facets of the organization, and how do you guys manage it on a regular basis, and what challenges have you found over the years, and how have you solved them?
Thank you for that easy question. Uh, I'll let Faith start with the hoop side, and I'll explain how the arts and the skills and the health adds on to it. But go ahead, Faith. You want to explain the hoops programming?
Well, it's the ordinary AAU basketball, getting kids from the neighborhood to come and give them an outlet to giving them an outlet. So that's where it all starts from. It starts to become competitive as well because then you want to form these elite teams in the realm of things, right? So you're basically out in the community, you're getting kids to come and play, you're pouring into them. I don't know if you know, but hoop actually means helping others obtain personal success. So within
Team Melbourne would be so upset. Say it again. For mom. Say it again. You have to.
hoops means helping others obtain personal success. So with
Wow, that's so cool.
So within the range of teaching basketball, we also want to teach these kids other things. We want to give them other ways of expressing themselves. We want to look and pour into them other than basketball. Because everybody's not going to the NBA. Everybody's not going to college to play basketball. But if we can teach them discipline, we can teach them teamwork, we can teach them responsibility, we can teach them accountability. These people now become um successful in a good part of society because they played in the program. Um, and I have a lot of kids that came from under me that are very successful, right? They're business owners. They're they're in school to be doctors. They're in school, they're teachers now. They own their own trucking business. Like, and I look at myself sometimes and be like, ah, dang, did I miss out? Shoot, 'cause
Now, who are the kind of like, who are the kind of, you help people can,
Oh, cool.
So we compete at certain levels. We have development teams, we have competitive teams, we have travel teams. So we have a range of girls and boys that just compete.
So you're a nonprofit. You're running this AAU team that is highly competitive, but it's also a nonprofit, and so all your kids. So I mean that's huge because I feel like your kids probably value this opportunity more than some of the other teams you're playing with against. Because what I understand about the AAU circuit just from following basketball and following different things, it's a lot of these kids who don't come from like the streets and don't come from these places, and they come from like more prep schools and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna just play AAU games every weekend, and then I'm gonna go to like this prep school, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to this college and make it to the NBA. So they don't value what you're doing, and their work ethic is sloppy compared to what you're teaching your kids. And then this is why, and I'm sure you guys probably say this because I actually had another organization on, where they were a sports based organization also, and she said she was like very straightforward with her kids. She's like, not all you guys are going to be professional. Not all you guys are going to be Olympians, but we're giving you the tools to be successful at life.
yeah.
And do you guys tell them that also? Like you say, like not all you guys are going to go to the NBA. Not all you guys are going to go to D1.
I don't you don't know me, but I tell straight up, like very, very much so transparent. And to your point, it's because, like you said, this AAU basketball, especially now with NIL deals and all this money involved, it's just straight competitive. If you're not good, you're not on the elite team. Nobody's taking the time to develop you as a human being and work with you. They don't care about what's going on at home. They don't care about all this extra stuff. Can you help me win or can you not? Also, over here, we give a balance of both, right? And when I say a balance of both, is that we do want to be competitive, but we also take the ones that a lot of people won't take. A lot of people won't keep on their team. They're not probably the best players, and most coaches will look at it like, what is he going to do for me? But I'm always going to see something in a kid, whether they're great right now or mediocre.
Can I just add to that framing just really quickly? I I want to add to that and also explain where the arts comes in. What I love about this, because again, Sean, our mission is this family based, of discipline, confidence building. I have literally been to tournaments and I've seen, because like this generation suffers, right, with anxiety, with socialization. I've seen kind of like an extra energy when the coaches get involved, the team parents get involved. Like they're all just really there in a way that's inherent to sports, but you can tell that that extra layer of like teamwork and confidence building and character is what sets us apart. Now, the arts came in because my dad told me about 5 years ago, I always wanted to have arts. I'm like, "Well, why'd you never told me that?" He said, "I was waiting for you to be plugged in." So art stands for amplifying and refining talents. And we just had a pilot launch this past fall. We had about I think 18 kids studying like cheerleading and dance principles. We're using a STEAM, right? So science, technology, education, arts, and math. And we're doing a part 2 in the spring and a part 3 in the summer. So we're trying to like balance the two because we know that really cheerleading is what connects dance to both sport, and also that body confidence. So that's the lens we're kind of going through with the arts program. But also going to answer our programming with a challenge. We're finding that a challenge is back to this generation, right? Because of wars, violence, social media, all this stuff, that this generation has a lot of, I think, skill building that they need. And also health, right? Like mental, emotional, spiritual, like that's all connected. So we try to do an annual skills and health event. We like bring in speakers. We talk about healthy eating habits, emotional awareness, confidence building, because we realize that if the family unit and their parents too, right? If their parents are not being the best and the kids are not being the best, it doesn't matter how talented you are. You can go to Broadway, you can be a great artist, you can be on the NBA, you will not succeed. So that skill building and that healthy thinking, living, eating in the family unit, and that is, I think, what that the part to it.
Well, that's what I find amazing in how you guys bridge the two things, like the arts and the sports, is that it's all about that mindset. It's all about building that mindset, that healthy mindset to enable you to be bigger than sports, bigger than basketball, bigger than dance, bigger than, whatever you're doing. Because ultimately, as we said, like you're blunt with them. Like not all you guys are gonna make it to the NBA, not all you guys are gonna make it to Broadway, but we're giving you the tools you need to succeed in the bigger stage at life. And you said that it's a testament to the people that the kids you've helped, that these guys are successful. They're living their best lives. They're successful. They're disciplined. They're doing what they need to do. And, I think it's great. But again, I think the whole idea of you're giving them this AAU experience, this art experience that, otherwise would be costing them and their parents like loads of money every single year. And you're giving it to them, but you're giving them something more, is the fact that they're going to have life skills.
Yeah, because Faith might find out about that budget because the cost of everything is going up. When I tell her at the same time, we have to be a business and we have to charge certain prices, but let's also be a nonprofit. So we even have them like do volunteer days, right? We have scholarship programs. We teach them how to give. So if we don't create that culture of giving back and philanthropy,
Right.
then we're no different, right, than any other corporation now.
No, for sure. And I think this is why, like when I mentioned to you before we started the recording, that I want to introduce you to my friend Herb Lang, former Harlem Globetrotter. He was an 18-year veteran in the Harlem Globetrotters. He has a nonprofit organization called Kindness is Free. And that's this whole thing. And I think that you guys would vibe really well together. One on the sports side, two on the kindness and the giving back side of things, and what you're doing and instilling that bigger picture for the future. So, I mean, I think this is great. I'm so happy that we got you on the show. And as people who have been around the nonprofit space for a while and have transitioned into leadership roles within the nonprofit space, what piece of advice would you give to others who are similar to you guys, like being involved in the nonprofit space and then stepping into these like leadership roles, executive type roles?
I'm gonna let Wesley answer this as if it is Phil, but I'm gonna say for me, you have to love what you do. It can't be because of a money gain. It can't because you're trying to, you're trying to build your success off of others. You really have to love this type of work with these kids. Because it's a lot. And it's not like you get paid a lot, right? You have these multi-million-dollar nonprofits, but as you know, we're grassroots, right? What they would call the underground. We the moms and pops. You know, we're the grinders. So a but for me in this, you have to love what you do. And whatever nonprofit you're doing, you have to actually love what you're doing.
And I would just add, know what you don't know and
Oh
keep
yeah.
listening and build a team around it. Save and I, well, I won't spoil the lead, but actually I will spoil the lead. We need a space. We need a space to do this programming, and it costs way too much money, as you know, to run a nonprofit and pay for all of this space. And we had a great call today with people working in real estate. It's done it before, who are on our board and on our advisory council to say, how do we do this, right? So know what you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
have the vision, and build a team to support you around that vision.
I mean that's absolute truth, and I feel like a lot of people miss that boat because they try to do everything and they even try to do things that they don't know how to do, and then it ends up setting you several steps back. So I mean I'm totally down for that. That's what I do with our companies. Is like I know what I know, and I have other people who know how to do stuff better than me, and that's okay. Because that's what you want. You want people who know how to do their jobs really, really well to enhance everything that you're doing around you. And I think that's something that a lot of nonprofit leaders need to really understand and internalize because otherwise they're going to sink.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have an ego, right? Yeah. We don't have a
Yes.
we don't have an ego. Like if I don't know something, I'm gonna tell Wesley, look, bro, I don't know. I'm gonna say it just like that. Like I don't know. But he'll say to me, or when I'm out and about and because networking, like this podcast is new for me, right? He forced me to do it. No debt. Get here.
Slowly, you
But I'm more so in the background, right? I don't,
Right.
I just like to coach. That's my space. But what happens is I listen to what he needs and what he wants, and see, I'm out in the community, so I'm able to network. And he'll say, "I'm looking for this, or I need somebody that does this," and I'll just come across someone and just send him the number, and say, "Hey, I need you to speak to him," because I know I can't do it. I have no information on it, but I can connect you with who does,
Right.
and let's move from there. So ego, you cannot have ego when you have a team.
No, absolutely. And to your point, also, Faith, it's all about connection. It's all about networking. It's all about building relationships with people and like who you can introduce to people, how you can connect with people. And I love doing that. Like I genuinely love connecting people with the people that I feel could work well together. And I don't connect people that I don't just be like, oh, you two sound great together. Out here, why don't you talk? It has to make sense because otherwise, you're not building a good relationship and everything. It's all about relationship building.
Yeah.
And this is how you grow and scale the organization. So how you grow and scale anything is about building relationships, cultivating those relationships. And that's comes down to the marketing side of it too. And I talk about this. So I'm a marketer. My background is digital marketing. I've been doing this for over 10 years with nonprofits. And people miss the boat when it comes to the cultivation, the relationship building, because they just want money. Organizations like, I want donors. It's like, okay, great. But like, what happens after? What happens after you get that $10 donation? What happens if you get that $10,000 donation? I've had people say, nothing. And I'm just like, well, how do you expect them to come back to you next year and give you more money? It's like, I don't know. So everything comes down to relationship building. And so I think you guys are doing a great job. I love what you're doing. And like I said, the acronyms especially, I did not know that that hoops stood for something, and I really love the acronyms. And I think that it's really really key. Do you guys like tell the students about what these acronyms
I
mean?
do.
Like,
Yeah.
I think
Sometimes we put it on t-shirt, we have get
nice.
yeah,
yeah.
you know.
It will. Well, you kind of ruined it, but that will be a lot of the anniversary branding. We're gonna start to really spell out the hoops and the arts and make it more very explicit in the fundraising. Because I think that that acronyms have power when you.
Oh, absolutely, and it's all about education too. Is that people like I always like to say people are everybody's dumb until you prove me otherwise. And and I say it with love, and I say it with love, but I say it with love. And you have to really educate people in order to get them to pay attention to you because there's so much noise. Everyone's trying to clamor for the same amount of money, for the same money that's out there. So I don't get me starting on Giving Tuesday, I beg you. But like everyone's clamoring for the same amount of money and nobody does anything to differentiate themselves to from the pack. And I think what you guys are doing with your acronyms and really explaining to people, educating people on it, kind of drilling it into their head, it gives them a reason why they should connect. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is amazing. This is why I want to be here. Whether, and it'll help you significantly in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. That's some good advice. Some free marketing advice. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
yeah. No, my pleasure. So as we wrap up this podcast, what's one other piece of advice you would give to people who are looking to start a nonprofit and are looking to really maximize the things that they have available to them and the information out there to really succeed? Like what's one piece of advice that you would have wished you had when you guys got into the driver's seat?
Self care is the best care. I can't help nobody if I'm tired. If I'm at my limit and stressed, and Faith has seen it. My parents have seen it. The board, my partner has seen it. I can't help you if I'm stressed. So self care is the best care.
Fair enough.
That's hard. That's a hard question. I'm not gonna lie. It's because it's so much, that you have to do. You know, um, just make sure you're finding something that when you're starting up something, make sure you're finding something that you're passionate about because that's what you're gonna put the most effort into. Don't look at it as, everybody likes to make money. Everybody's looking for a way to come up. But I think what happens is when you're doing that, you might lose the value of what you're trying to put out there, or it doesn't last long. We've been around uh 25 years, and I've been doing it personally um for 14 years. And it's never been about the money. It's been about the passion. And I think that's why people actually like, how did I sustain so long? My brother asks me all the time. Like, I don't understand how you did this for 10, 12 years, about 10 years before he came on. How did you do this for so long without a budget, without this, without that, without the help, without the resources? And I was like, I don't know. I just love it. I just don't know. That's just what it is. So just be passionate about what you're actually going to get into. Find your niche, be passionate, and find a team. Put a team around you that has the same values as you and the
Mm.
same goals as you. For years, I didn't have people around me because I didn't think people valued it like I valued it. They wasn't going to put the work ethic, effort into it like I did. But once I found that team and Wesley came aboard, I found someone that understood, and they understood where I wanted to go, the vision, and they were on board. So that's where we come in now, and we're just bigger than ever, you know.
And I'll give a shout out. I want to call out her volunteer coaches and team parents. She has like between 12 and 15 people that it doesn't matter. Do you need a award? Do you need whatever? I'll book it. I'll do it. I'll run the game. Run this. I mean, when you think about 18 sometimes in institutions across Florida, completely volunteer powers. I just want to really shout out our volunteer coaches and team parents, because me and the staff were over here and doing that, but they are on the ground with faith me.
Dang, that's so cool. Well, way to go. And like I said, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. It was really fun. I'm happy that we had you on. And I like doing this show a lot because I get more insight in here, and everyone has a different story. Everyone has different answers to different questions. And I really like hearing from you guys, and a lot of our listeners like it too, because now people get a better insight to see what it's really like on the other side. And this is great. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna put all the information in the show notes and on the website page. And if you guys like this episode, you can go ahead and connect with them with Holiday Hoops. And you can also make a donation, of course, and become a partner with them as well, because sharing is caring and helping them grow and thrive. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast on all major podcast platforms and on our YouTube channel, GiveSuite. And as I said, this show is proudly sponsored by GiveSuite. If you want to learn more about us, you can check us out, www.givesuite.com. And until the next upload, we'll catch you guys later.